faces.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, for our next Oscar predictions in September now. I've got to say, before I pass it on to you guys and your thoughts before we get into it, this is possibly my weakest list out of the 3 seasons that we've been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
What a weird year for
Yeah.
movies. Obviously, with the strikes going on, I still don't know what's going to happen. About a week ago, I had my list cemented.
Mhm.
Dune was on it a couple of times. Dune got moved. And you would think it would be as easy as pulling up my number 11 or my number 6 to my number 5 or 10. It's not that easy, because from that time that Dune got delayed up until today that I am here with you lovely fellows, the odds changed. And I'm like,
Yep.
what I had at number 10 is not there anymore. What I had at number 6 is not there anymore. Now my 15 is my number 3 or whatever. It changes. And I think for context's sake, as of today, as of this recording, the film festivals haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
There's no talk, guys. There's no talk at all. This is our last prediction video of pure speculation.
Mhm.
Next time we come to you, we're gonna have some good data, right, Shawn?
Yes, 100%. Like you said, with the strikes going on, WGA and SAG, it sucks right now because we're in a little bit of a limbo. Of course, some studios have come out and said that they are going to keep their movies in their spots, but then you never know what's going to happen if those negotiations don't come to fruition. Then sadly, we might see some other movies drop off this list. So we are in a little bit of a limbo right now. I'm excited about a lot of these movies, but we still don't know if they're actually good or not. And we'll know in a couple of weeks once Venice and Toronto happen.
Well, we do know there's one movie that came out that we may hold in high regard. And I think Mr. Danheimer is the hint.
Yeah.
Dan, Oppenheimer?
Yeah, that's I mean, it obviously came out, and it's going to be in a lot of categories, I think. But yeah, no, I agree with you guys, because there's so much that I literally just put on my list because, the odds are good for that one, the odds are good for that one, or you're hearing some things at least. But yeah, we don't hear much. And the film festivals have not started yet, so we'll definitely have, like you said, we'll definitely have a better idea next time.
Yeah, like come October, we're
Yeah.
going to have some good discussions.
Yes.
But I'm happy to at least have some wild cards today with you guys.
It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get this started, guys. Let's get into our predictions for best original screenplay. Ooh. All right. This time around, I don't have Barbie here. I don't believe Barbie's gonna go in the best original screenplay category. So that being said, my number 5, I got Maestro. Number 4, I'm holding on to The Holdovers. 3, Shawn, you'll like this one. Saltburn, baby. I'm buying into it. At number 3, now this is high. Number 2, I have Anatomy of a Fall. Yeah.
Okay.
With my number 1 still going to Past Lives. Yet, as of today, I am not confident in Past Lives. I think we had talked about it, guys, in our private DMs. Past Lives is starting to remind me of a woman talking.
Yep.
There is a group of people that blame the Barbenheimer phenomenon as to why Past Lives is not being talked about, and believe that when this phenomenon finally finishes its theatrical run, people will start holding Past Lives in a higher esteem. And I couldn't disagree more. I really think that it's losing steam. I know it's coming out in the UK in September. I think within the next 2 weeks, it's coming out in the UK. That could bring it back to life. It could. But what a drop off for this movie that we thought could win Best Picture back when Sundance had it come out, right?
Yeah, John, I completely agree with you on Past Lives. I think The only difference between this and Women Talking is Women Talking hadn't been released yet, and it was more like hearsay. With Past Lives, this one came out so early on in the year, and it's such a small movie, even though it is a beautiful movie. I just think it has lost so much steam already, and I just don't see it having that spark or that something different that Everything Everywhere All at Once had that's going to keep it going throughout the rest of the year to keep it in the conversation. That being said, the original screenplay is fantastic.
I agree completely. I will say that I think the biggest hindrance for Past Lives and lovers of this film will come from my head. It has a little bit of a small voice problem. Like it's just a bit too little of a voice, and it's being drowned out by so many other films. But I agree that it's a good screenplay. Yeah, Dan, I know you saw Past Lives, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts on, are we on the right path in saying that it's because of Barbenheimer, or do you think it's no, give it some time, it's gonna come back up?
So I agree with a lot of what you said. That I think that I liked it. I obviously really liked the movie, but at the same time, it didn't make as much of an impact as I expected it to. Coming out of the festivals in the beginning of the year, everyone was like, "Oh, this is an amazing movie," and I was so excited for it. And then originally I said it lived up to the hype, but I don't know if it totally did. But I still think it's a really well-made movie. No, there's so much other like Barbenheimer that really took over the theater scene from like every movie.
Gotcha.
So it's hard to say if Barbenheimer like is the reason that they're not talking about Past Lives.
Yeah. No, I got you. I'd like to go to Shawn for his list, just in case we have some overlapping options here to speak on.
We definitely do. My number 5 is Fair Play from Netflix. My number 4 is May December. My number 3 is Anatomy of a Fall. My number 2 is Saltburn, and my number 1 is Past Lives.
Ooh, Shawn, Fair Play, huh?
Yes, and what I love about this is that 4 of these screenplays are by women. So that's kind of an exciting idea to have so many screenplays written by women in this original screenplay category. Why I put Fair Play there, I've seen it, and so has Dan at Sundance, and it is such a good screenplay. It is so taut and tense, and the way that it builds up to where it goes is absolutely brilliant. I think this is going to be a Secret Assassin this year. It might not get in anywhere else, but I can see it for screenplay because it is such a phenomenal screenplay. May December, I'm still holding out hope on, though we haven't heard a lot since its premiere. Was it at South by Southwest that it premiered at?
Cannes, maybe?
Cannes. I think it was Cannes. I think it was Cannes that it was at. But haven't heard a lot of it again. It's going to need some momentum, but still, it's still in my memory. It still sounds like a very interesting film. And then, Saltburn, I want to put it at number 1. No one's seen it yet, so I'm waiting for all those great reviews to come out.
Okay. I am going to get you angry for a second with Saltburn.
Oh,
and
okay.
And take this, right, pun intended, with a grain of salt. I heard one source, one mysterious source, I should add, talk about Saltburn and say it wasn't too good.
Who is this mysterious source? I'm not going to believe this one human.
Tell me.
I'm not going to believe it.
I have it on my list.
I'm
not saying that I believe it either, right? But it was weird that we heard nothing about the film. We got that one promotional picture, and then I heard this one mysterious source say, "You guys are gonna be disappointed," and I'm like, "Don't say that! Don't say that!" There's this little voice in me that is almost like Emerald Fennell was Promising Young Woman. He's gonna be that one writer director that. Right, she got all that acclaim for this one movie, and she'll never get it again. I don't want that to be the case, though.
I think Promising Young Woman was too much of an assured film for her to just come out and just fail miserably. I don't see it. I'm so excited for this movie. So until more reviews come out and more opinions come out, then I'll just wait.
I want to like May December when it comes out because people are saying it's such a weird movie. I love that. I want to like it. But because of the lack of talk around it after Cannes, I believe it was Cannes, I left it off my list. Majority of my list does not have May December for that reason alone. It would have been
fair.
It would have been the definition of pure speculation if I added it.
Yeah, but at least with all like that movie's been seen, at least we know people's opinions about that movie, whereas a lot of these we don't.
True. Totally. Dan, what about you, my friend?
5 is John. I'm also holding on to the holdovers. So my number 5 is the holdovers. Even though I'm not gonna lie, I did not love the trailer. I just don't love the style of it. It seems, I don't know. It just seems.
I love the trailer.
I love the trailer too.
I agree with Shawn that it doesn't look Academy friendly. Is all.
Nope.
Yeah. No, I do like the trailer. It was a different vibe than I was expecting.
Gotcha.
Yeah. 4 May December. 3 Saltburn. 2 Anatomy of the Fall, and 1 Past Lives.
Okay.
Oh, Dan. Okay, this is what I wanted to touch on. I'm happy you have it on. You have Anatomy of a Fall at number 2, just like me.
Yeah.
You want to kind of touch on that for a second?
Yeah, that's I'm not gonna lie. That's one of them that I just kind of saw the odds, and I was like, I've heard Anatomy of a Fall before, obviously. And yeah, I just added it kind of in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Dude, it won the Palme d'Or.
Mm-hmm.
And since it won, it has been gaining steam in this race and gaining acclaim. People talking about its direction, people talking about that screenplay. And listen, as a true crime fan, hey, you and me, Shawn, right? People that have seen it say, if you are into true crime, you are going to love this film. It is an Academy Award worthy true crime film. I'm in, right? And apparently it's in 4 different languages.
Yes.
That's cool. That's just straight up cool. And
yeah, no, I'm so excited for this movie, John. I ever since I heard about it, I was like, okay, like a Palme d'Or winner that's a true crime movie. I was like, huh, that's a little bit different. Usually they go for something, wacko and crazy, like Triangle of Sadness. But I don't know. I feel like this one is gaining momentum, and that trailer was so damn good. So I'm excited to see the movie. I'm excited to see where it falls in the Oscar conversation this year, but it's definitely going to be talked about for the rest of the year.
The Academy does go for sometimes wacky and crazy screenplays. Shawn, so why, aside from it doesn't look like Academy bait, do you not have the holdovers on your list?
There's a lot of reasons. Number one is it just looks like a kind of retread of movies that we've seen before, like The Professor and like The Wily Student. And
so it's getting in, is what you're telling me.
No, but it just looks too like saccharine sweet holiday fare. And then the trailer itself seemed almost like a parody of itself. And also Alexander Payne, his last movie was Downsizing, and that movie was a huge just disappointment that had a great plot, but the execution was terrible. So I'm not sold on this movie in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it's going to be in the Oscar conversation.
Great point, my friends. Let's continue on this screenplay train as we predict Best Adapted Screenplay. Now a Dune-less Best Adapted Screenplay category. Shawn, you go first this time.
Mine's going to be a little interesting here. Number 5, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Ooh.
Number 4, The Killer. Number 3, The Zone of Interest. Number 2, Oppenheimer. and number 1, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower Moon at number 1. I see it as well. I see Killers getting it. Though I must say, Oppenheimer's script is just that good.
I agree, but during our last video, when we talked about Barbenheimer, we also talked about all of the flaws in the screenplay as well. Now, I'm not going to say, because I haven't seen it, that Killers of the Flower Moon doesn't have flaws as well. But there's a part of me that feels like they might spread the love. Last year, Everything Everywhere All at Once won everything. That's very rare that happens. I feel like if Oppenheimer goes and takes a lot of the other awards, that they might reward the screenplay here for Killers of the Flower Moon. So that's kind of why I went with that. And as for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Yeah.
I know this is kind of a divisive pick, or I mean, everyone loves the movie, so it's not divisive, but will it get in? Maybe. There's a good possibility that it won't, but I just have this feeling that this movie is riding the wave. I feel like people continue to talk about this movie since it's come out. It's also produced by James L. Brooks. It's based on a beloved novel, and there is something so genuine about this film. I just have a feeling that it might scooch itself in to number 5.
Dan, touch on that for a second. You've seen this film. I actually haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I just watched it last week or two. It's a great script, though. Like, I couldn't help, like, just finishing it. I can't imagine anyone wasn't, like, just so happy. Mm-hmm. And it's just, like, I don't know. It's just such a happy script. It's a witty script. They cover a lot of stuff, and I think they did it very well. It didn't come off as cringy like some teenage stuff might, or coming of age stuff might come off as. So I think it's a really good script. It's definitely like an unconventional pick, I think, but it's one I wouldn't have even thought about. But it's good. I don't think it's a definite no. It's a good script.
Well, by taking what you guys are saying, I would assume it would be a pleasant surprise to have that film in the screenplay category. Yet, for me, it feels a little bit too much like, guys, come on, 8th grade. Do we remember that year? It didn't make it, and it almost did, and everybody was talking about it the same way they were talking about Are You There, God?
I think this one has... I think this one has more of an oomph to it than 8th grade because it has James L. Brooks behind it. And he won everything for As Good as It Gets. He's one of those people, he hasn't been around very often. His name behind it, plus Judy Blume, plus Kelly Fremont Craig, is this, I mean, she had her debut feature, The Edge of 17, which people loved, and they were kind of talking about that in the Oscar conversation, even though it didn't happen. I just think this one has a little bit more oomph to it than 8th grade.
Yeah, but it has a history of just not happening.
Well, we'll see.
Another big thing against it than the 8th grade comparison is this is a stat category, unlike last year.
True.
There were maybe 7 to 8 films or screenplays that could make it onto this list. So it's going to be tough for a film as small as Are You There, God to build its way up. And it could. Definitely could. But I don't think it will. Okay. But we'll get there because it's Dan's turn.
All right. So my number 5 is Poor Things. 4 is The Zone of Interest. 3 is, I'm still holding on to it because it's so popular and everything. So 3 is Barbie. 2 is Oppenheimer. And 1 is Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Same two as Shawn.
Yeah.
Poor Things, Zone of Interest, Barbie, Shawn. Not Shawn. Dan over here rocking the Barbenheimer get up, a pink shirt and a fedora. You are obsessed with Barbie, admit it.
Yeah. No, I am. Yeah.
How many times has it been that you've seen it?
I've seen it 6 times. And
oh, Lord.
Now,
one
Dan,
more time.
Is it pure obsession that it's your number 3, or do you have some credible thought behind this?
Other than what I was saying, I just think it's like so popular, and I know that's not always obviously the goal here, but like I don't know. And it's obviously Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig, so I think they at least have some credibility, obviously. But yeah, no, it's the popularity, and it's just my obsession with it. I think that I still think it has a chance.
Gotcha. Yeah, brother. I think popularity is a good excuse as to why Barbie is on your list.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to get to my list real quick because we might share a couple. Because I'm at number 5. I've got the Zone of Interest.
Oh.
Zone of Interest is one that you may see a couple more times going into my list, but I'm just wondering if you'll see it anymore going on to through the season. Because while people are saying it's a work of art, Anatomy of a Fall seems to be a more completely realized film. And it seems like they're both going to be fighting.
Remember your opinions from last time have changed.
Yeah.
Because I had Anatomy of a Fall and you guys were all Zone of Interest. Okay.
And it's not to say that Zone of Interest won't be on some other categories we'll be talking about shortly, because it very well may be. But I still see the Zone of Interest maybe getting in. Maybe even it's at 5 because it seems to be a director feat, not really a writer feat. But it's still Zone of Interest. It won the Grand Prix.
Yep.
Who knows? Anyway, number 4, I got Poor Things. I think with Dune no longer being in this category, because Dune is a shoo-in if it came out this year in this category. Poor Things, I think, is going to start moving into some categories that Dune was originally going to be taking.
And they moved the release date to later this year, right? So it has that prime Oscar release date.
They have confidence in this film, and I do too. At number 3, I've got Barbie. I got Barbie, baby. Listen, it is taking over the world. It is Greta Gerwig. It is Noah Baumbach. It is the most popular film in the world. Listen, Top Gun Maverick was nominated last year, and I read some of that screenplay, and geez. Barbie at number 3.
Okay.
And in the most boring of fashions, number 2 is Oppenheimer. Number 1 is Killers of the Flower Moon.
Dang, so we're all on the same page. Okay. About Killers of the Flower Moon.
I had Oppenheimer at number 1 until very recently.
Same.
Yeah.
I still want Oppenheimer at number 1, even though I thought that the way he wrote some of his female characters were blah. I still want it at number 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, Barbie. I got some faith in Barbie.
I have no faith in Barbie.
What? Shawn.
You guys, I really think this is a case of like everyone is just so entrenched in this Barbenheimer craze. And Barbie in general.
Did you just say everybody?
Well, everyone besides Jace.
That's true. But if everybody is, right, then everybody also includes everybody in the Academy.
But we're right in the middle of the year here, right? So we have all of these film festivals that are going to happen and all of these incredible movies that are still on track to be released this year. I see it riding the wave of popularity. I don't see it riding the wave of award season, because I just don't think it is that type of movie that's going to win all these awards like we're thinking, besides maybe the technical awards.
Oh, no, brother. I agree with the whole winning aspect. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 technicals. I understand. But nomination, I see it clear.
I still don't know. I don't know.
We really
maybe in a couple of months, if all of these movies are crap that are coming out in the film festivals, then I'll change my mind. But for now, I think it's just we're all putting Barbie in there because it's just the thing of the moment, not because it's worthy of all of these nominations.
Maybe, Shawn, but I think it's smart to not overlook reception either, because that could make a bad film Academy Award worthy. And Barbie's not a bad film.
No, it's not a bad film.
But don't look up
But-
this.
We're just gonna plug Don't Look Up in every one of our videos. I love it.
Don't Look Up
Yeah.
made it. Let's move on over. Best Supporting Actor. Okay. Are we ready to have the same top 3?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think we may. Dan, start us off.
All right, so at number 5, I have Ryan Gosling for Barbie. 4, I have Charles Melton for May December. 3, I have John Magaro for Past Lives. 2, I have Robert De Niro. De Niro for Kills of the Flower Moon. And 1, I have Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer.
Okay, so we don't have the same top 3. All right, Dan, the Barbie obsessed man, has Ryan Gosling at number 5.
Yeah, this is just because I think he's getting in because it's such a popular, like a Jamie Lee Curtis thing. But to me, if Jamie Lee Curtis can get in for that role, anyone
And win.
Yeah, anyone can get in.
We did talk last time about Charles Melton and how he seems to be the breakout star of May December. So I'm happy that at least you have him on.
Yeah.
John Magaro is one that I'm losing steam with Past Lives myself.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the Barbenheimer stream, but guys, I didn't like Past Lives as much as everybody else did, and that includes all the performances excluding Greta Lee's.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, like John Magaro didn't blow me away.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I am right there with you, John, on that one.
So Dan, explain yourself.
Well, him I have in. I swear I don't have it. It just happens to be the one I'm talking about. But like him, I just put in because of what the odds said.
Let's move on to my list because we might share some that we can touch on. At number 5, I'm on this Poor Things train. But this time I got Willem Dafoe because he's Willem Dafoe. And if Poor Things is gonna be an Academy player, it is in a primetime spot. Willem Dafoe. It's Willem Dafoe. Anybody that has been following the Oscars know that he gets in. Let's get it. Poor Things. I'm going number 5. Number 4. I said Willem Dafoe because he's Willem Dafoe. Number 4 is Jesse Plemons because he's Jesse Plemons.
Oh, no.
For Killers of the Flower Moon. I have a feeling that upon rewatch for some people, but initial watch for us, I think we're gonna like Jesse Plemons a lot more than the Cannes audience was kind of getting us onto. I think he's gonna have maybe more of a memorable role than he did in Power of the Dog, and he got nominated for that.
It's true.
So the number 3 now, guys, I'm sorry, but I love to dissect other people's predictions. I love to dissect other websites' predictions on their odds for the Oscars. And I've got to agree that part of my top 3 includes Ryan Gosling and Barbie. He is in it. I think in a world where Melissa McCarthy's performance could be honored with a Best Supporting Actress nomination, very much so, Ryan Gosling should be not honored by that metric. Right? Because I agree that I don't think he gave the absolute best supporting performance of the year. But by that metric, just by hindsight, by what the Academy has done before, Ryan Gosling, I think, deserves a nomination. I personally think that he was better than Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids. I know, Shawn, you'll take my head for that. Number 2, I have Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon. And number 1, Robert Downey Jr. What a surprise. We talked about it in Barbenheimer. He was one of the best parts of that movie. Had no idea he was going to have that big of a role and leave that much of an imprint.
Yeah.
Right, Shawn?
100%. Number 5, Charles Melton for May December. I really do think he's going to ride this wave at being this breakout star of this movie. And it's such a, no one expected it from him, you know? So that's also another kind of exciting thing to see somebody who's kind of come from like Riverdale and stuff like that to being like, hey, I am going to give an Oscar-worthy performance. So I'm excited to see that. Number 4, I have Ryan Gosling for Barbie. Throw everything I said about Barbie away for Best Adapted Screenplay. I think for this performance, it's memorable. No one is going to forget Ryan Gosling as Ken for decades to come, I think. So I think he is going to get in for this. Number 3, I have Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon. 2, Coleman Domingo, because I am still on the Coleman Domingo train, and you cannot get me off of it, for The Color Purple. And number 1, Robert Downey Jr. This is his award to lose after seeing that movie. He blew me away. It's his time to win an Oscar. So excited for him.
Yeah, I'm ready. He has like this Brendan Fraser narrative behind him. I'm with it. Shawn, I just wanted to kind of throw it to you for a second about Coleman Domingo and The Color Purple, because like I like Coleman Domingo. I think he has a great or better chance somewhere else. I think more than anything, it's not Coleman Domingo. It's just The Color Purple for me. If you haven't noticed it already, I haven't been showing it love. And you're not going to see me show it much love either.
Yeah, I mean, neither have I. And we haven't heard a lot about this movie since the trailer. So I still don't know where we are with The Color Purple. But I do think that the studio has faith in it because they are keeping it in that December release date. So there has to be something there. And Coleman Domingo, I just feel like, I said this 2 months ago, I feel like it's his year. He might not win anything. I've kind of gone down on my expectations for that. But I do think that he is going to get nominated maybe twice, like Scarlett Johansson did that one year. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Coleman Domingo. I'm happy about it.
It is that December release date for the film, and the fact that it stayed over Dune.
Yeah.
That kind of has me questioning it. But I've got to say, for me personally, that movie looks heartful and hokey.
Hokey might be a good word for it. I don't know. My excitement for the movie has definitely gone down. Maybe we'll see another trailer and it'll get us more pumped for it. But it doesn't really have any, it's not being released in any festivals yet. And I don't know, it could end up being the Whitney Houston biopic all over again. We'll see.
Yeah. And real quickly before we move on, due to talks from the people that have seen Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert De Niro stays high up for us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, guys, let's move on to our predictions on Best Supporting Actress. And I think this is you, Shawn?
Sure. Number 5, Julianne Moore for May December. Number 4, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. Number 3, my girl Taraji P. Henson for The Color Purple. Number 2, Rosamund Pike for Saltburn. And number 1, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon. Just a couple of things here. I would love to see Taraji P. Henson win an Academy Award. I think it's her time for some recognition in the industry. But I also feel that way about Rosamund Pike. I think she should have won for Gone Girl. I love her so much. I think she should have been nominated for I Care a Lot. I think she's so good in that movie. And if she chews the scenery like she did in those last 2 movies I just mentioned, I just can't wait to see her in Saltburn. But Lily Gladstone, for me, I see her like really just becoming a huge star in Hollywood. Me and Dan saw her in Fancy Dance from Sundance, and she was so good in that movie. And if she's anywhere as near as good as people are saying she is for Killers of the Flower Moon, I think this is hers to lose as well.
I agree with that. I don't see talks dying down for Lily Gladstone. or even wavering. It's been staying at number 1. The only thing against it that I've heard is that she may move on over to Best Leading Actress. I haven't heard any more talk about that. I also have her in my supporting actress race. And if that's the case, my guy, I think she's the one to beat this year as well. Yeah, man. Rosamund Pike. I agree about Gone Girl. She deserves some love.
She's so damn good. Like, there is so few actresses or performers out there that like chew the scenery like this woman does, and she does like deliciously evil in the best way. And if this part is anything like that, like, oh, I can't wait.
Gotcha. Dan, let's move on over to you.
All right. So I actually have the same exact list as Shawn.
Really?
Yeah. 5, Julianne Moore. 4, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. 3, Taraji P. Henson for The Color Purple. 2, Rosamund Pike for Saltburn, and 1, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah.
Wow, I thought I was original in mine. That's crazy, Dan.
No, until recently, I actually had Emily Blunt at 2 and Rosamund Pike at 4. And I more switched it because of personal things. I thought Emily Blunt was amazing.
She's so good.
Yeah, and I thought she was really good. I just never
underused.
Yes.
Yes, underused. Yes.
Nothing about her performance whatsoever. Every scene she had, she milked it for all it was worth. But like, once again, Christopher Nolan just not giving female characters enough screen time.
Yeah. Wow, I don't know what else to touch on. Same exact list. Okay. Well, I see your love for May December, both of you guys. Guys, I wanted to have May December more on my list, but I gotta go back to what we talked about in the screenplay categories. I don't just nothing. There's nothing there yet. So I just can't, in good conscience, put like a lot of love into that film until more people see it. Wow. Okay, let's just go to mine then. Wouldn't it be crazy if we have the same picks?
Well,
it would be crazy because we don't. At number 5, my kind of iffiness on The Color Purple shows I have Taraji P. Henson at number 5. I would love to see her get an Oscar though. I just don't know about The Color Purple. At number 4, I have Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore for May December. I think this is the only time May December pops up. Spoiler alert. Number 3, I have Rosamund Pike for Saltburn. 2, I got Emily Blunt. And then at number 1, I have Lily Gladstone. I had a hard time with Best Supporting Actress. I believe my mindset behind this list was that I was putting who is most likely to get nominated, not necessarily win, with Lily Gladstone being the one that I'm sure could win it all. Yeah. So that's why I have Emily Blunt at 2, because I see her getting in. Like, but yeah, that's my list, guys. I think we have the same people just all mixed up.
And I think besides Julianne Moore, who's won an Academy Award, I think these are all 4 actresses who 100% deserve an Academy Award sometime in their lifetime. So to have them all nominated here would be great.
Yeah. So we didn't go with the other supporting actress option for The Color Purple, which would have been Danielle Brooks, correct?
I had her in until recently, but
I almost had her in, but I'm seriously not really for Color Purple right now. And Taraji's way bigger of a name and more deserving of an Oscar due to her filmography.
I almost agreed. I almost had them both in. I think we did last time.
I don't think The Color Purple is going to be as amazing as as we thought it would be to have 2 people in this category, you know?
Yeah, and my other thing was in the trailer, Taraji P. Henson is like, she's in a couple scenes, but it's like one part, it looks like. So that's why I was like, I still put her in there, obviously, but I was still unsure of how much she's actually going to be in the movie.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Very interesting. You're right, Dan. You're right about that. She is only seemingly in one scene.
Yeah.
So it's Stud Hirsch.
That's true.
All right. Well, there we go. Let's move on to our predictions on lead actor, guys. Lead actor, we're going to start here with Dan.
All right. 5, I have Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. 4, I have Coleman Domingo for Rustin. 3, Leonardo DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon. 2, Bradley Cooper for Maestro. That's what I thought. Okay, 2, Bradley Cooper for Maestro, and 1, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer.
Okay, just for the sake of time, we have the exact same list.
Really? Oh,
Really?
The
Wow.
exact same list. Cillian Murphy for the win. I seriously want him to win. I think he deserves it from what I saw. Again, we haven't even seen Maestro. I hope Cooper kills it, knocks it out of the park, and makes it competitive. That would be so much fun. The same with Leo. Would love to see Domingo in there because I love him as an actor. And Paul Giamatti, just for the type of role that he's playing, would add a lot more diversity into that category. That more comedic role. You know what I mean? But it's a little bit serious, right? From what we see in the trailers, it seems like it's going to be a heartfelt performance as well. I have Paul Giamatti cemented on my list for now. But yeah, Dan, how do you feel about certain people saying that Cillian Murphy's going to have trouble staying at number 1? Do you buy into it?
No, I don't buy into it.
No?
No, I think he can pretty easily stay at number 1. I mean, yeah.
I agree. A lot of people are using the argument that it was a little bit too stoic of a performance. I completely disagree. If you compare stoicism, right? Let's compare stoicism. Ryan Gosling in First Man, Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer.
It's a great comparison.
Right, right. Two opposite ends. And Cillian Murphy has so much more of a dynamic with that character than Ryan Gosling did, kind of like meandering his way through First Man.
And Cillian Murphy, just his eyes, like the last shot, you could just tell what he's thinking. It's like, like he just can do so much with his face.
But Bradley Cooper's going to have a big nose.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up.
Well, Shawn, let's get through your list and bring it up.
Okay. Number 5, I cannot believe you guys are leaving him out of the conversation, is Barry Keoghan for Saltburn. I mean, we were just blown away by him in Banshees of Inisherin. He's on a roll right now. I'm excited. Unless this character is a completely played as a straight man character, where he's very like the odd duck outside of all of these crazy characters. I think that Barry Keoghan gets in. Number 4, Coleman Domingo for Rustin. 3, Bradley Cooper for Maestro. 2 is Leo. 1 is Cillian Murphy.
Okay, Shawn, why switch the Bradley-Leo dynamic? I have Bradley so high because he could have that RDJ narrative of he's never won an Oscar before, and he is trying his hardest. Some people say to a fault to get an Oscar.
You just hit the nail on the head. Like, I feel like, I mean, I do appreciate he has always been a fan of this composer, and that's like he's been trying to get the rights to the music and to make this film for a long time. Jake Gyllenhaal was also trying to do it as well, and Bradley Cooper won out the rights. So obviously this is close to his heart. I hope it's a great movie. I think there's already controversy behind the movie, whether it be silly or not, based upon your own opinions. I just think that, I don't know. Once I saw the trailer for the movie, I was not as impressed or excited for the movie as I was, once the trailer came out, I guess.
My eyes in that trailer go to another actor/actress we'll be talking about soon.
Agreed.
But I do think the controversy is silly. That's just me. I think it's silly, and I think people are going to forget about it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think people will forget about it.
I don't know. You kind of brought up 2 months ago, like people have been talking about this movie in kind of like a negative light.
Yeah.
And I don't see the momentum for this movie like some of these other ones. Maybe it's just based on my own personal opinions, but like I'm not that excited for this movie. I don't think it sounds that interesting. I don't think it looks that interesting. And I'm not, I was excited about A Star is Born with Bradley Cooper. I thought he was incredible in that movie. This one, not so much.
I'm excited for it. But great points, guys. Great points for sure. Let's move on.
Okay.
Best leading actress. This time it starts with me. At number 5, speaking of Maestro, Carey Mulligan in Maestro. At number 4, Greta Lee in Past Lives. At number 3, if you don't believe that I'm not on this Color Purple bandwagon, Fantasia Barrino at number 3. Number 2, Annette Bening for Naiad. Yeah. And at number 1, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall. I love this category that I kind of made up because it's my most wild card.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it though. Listen, Carey Mulligan and Maestro. Let's go through this. Carey Mulligan and Maestro was the star of that trailer.
Yes, completely agree.
Where you think that it's going to be just mainly about Bradley Cooper, it is through the point of view of Carey Mulligan's character. Surprisingly, because I had no clue she was going to have that big of a role, if that's what the trailer is insinuating. Carey Mulligan, promising young woman, an incredible actress who could easily get into this category. Could people still be like, she should have got it for promising young woman, let's put her in for Maestro? Maybe. And let me touch on Annette Bening, because I feel like we might have the other ones, and I'll move on. Annette Bening and Naiad. I don't know if you guys are maybe as plugged in as I am and like watching everybody's videos on the Oscars, but many people have kind of had this mindset of Annette Bening needs to win her first Oscar. Like when Glenn Close was nominated for The Wife. And I kind of buy into that. If this performance ends up being that good, it could be a lone nomination for a movie like Naiad, in the same way that Renee Zellweger got it for Judy. So that's why I have her at number 2. Again, it's a super wild card. I get it.
The narrative that you're bringing up makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, I think for Glenn Close, it makes more sense.
You think? Than Annette Bening?
Annette Bening is amazing, but it's like, did she get nominated for 20th Century Women or 21st Century Women? Like, that was such a great role for her.
This year, or did she not?
I don't think she did. I don't know. The narrative's not as much there for Annette Bening, I feel like. And this movie has no momentum whatsoever.
Yeah, but Judy did?
Yeah, I feel like Judy Garland, that's enough of a momentum for you from the character. No one knows who this swimming woman is, even though I'm sure she's amazing.
It's true. It was Judy Garland. That's big. I really feel that Annette Bening, the name behind it.
I could be completely wrong here, but I just feel like with the fact that nobody knows who Naiad is, on top of it's not gaining a lot of momentum. The trailer already came out, and I don't know. We'll see.
Shawn, your turn, my friend.
Number 5, Carey Mulligan for Maestro. Number 4, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall. Number 3, Fantasia Barrino for The Color Purple. Number 2, Natalie Portman for May December. And number 1, Greta Lee for Past Lives.
Wow. Shawn, before you make your claim, let me at least get this off my chest. I think Greta Lee is right. If Past Lives is the Titanic, Greta Lee is on the Titanic. That's why
It's an
she's
interesting
number 4.
metaphor.
And wow, number 1.
100%.
What love.
Seeing that movie, the only takeaway I had, besides it did not emotionally affect me as much as I was hoping it to, or that it might be a little bit overrated, was how beautiful her performance is. I really felt so connected to her character, and she is the only reason why that movie works. I think she is so good in this movie. That's all I could think about the whole entire movie was how good she was in this. And I'm going to hold on to that probably for a long time. And I will stick with that.
Okay, I mean, good on you. Many people agree with you. You're not alone in that. Greta Lee could start gaining steam aside from maybe Past Lives losing steam. Totally possible. Fantasia Barrino at number 3, though. Can we agree here that maybe this is a lot of people just creating hype that does not exist still?
Right. It's almost like Jennifer Hudson for Dreamgirls, you know, like she won that award and that incredible song that she sang in Dreamgirls. And, you know, we want to see another American Idol winner, you know, come forward, or American Idol contestant come forward and win an Academy Award again. We'll see. I'm still I have no idea where Color Purple is lying in my nominations right now, because no one knows anything about its quality, rather.
Gotcha. Now Natalie Portman and Annette Bening, they're the two fighting on my list. If it's not one, it is the other. And because of May December being nothing to me right now, I gave it to Annette Bening.
It means nothing to me.
In the best of ways, right? Like in the best, like just ignorant, I know nothing. Like ignorance. I claim ignorance. But great points. Were you gonna say something?
No, I'm just more excited for May December. So that's why I think that it's in there. I think this still has to do with some of my excitement and my interest in what I'm intrigued by, rather than, you know, what the actual movie's quality is, which luckily we'll be able to talk about, you know, next month.
Yeah, for sure. Dan, your turn.
All right. So, John, you'll be happy. 5, I have Annette Bening.
Ooh, let's get it.
4, I have Carey Mulligan for Maestro. 3 is Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall. 2 is Greta Lee for Past Lives, and 1 is Fantasia Barrino for the.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantasia Barrino. All right, so you're riding on that hype train with everybody else, huh, Dan?
Yeah, I feel like I'm higher on Color Purple than you guys. It's such an it can be an emotional movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Emotional story, and I think she's going to do really good. She looked really good in the trailers. Yeah, I don't know.
She won a Tony for the same role.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's something.
Yeah, definitely. Could definitely translate to the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm happy you have Annette Bening.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can agree with my points.
I do.
Neither of you guys have Natalie Portman, and I have her at number 2.
I'm surprised you don't have Natalie Portman, Dan, because you've been with Shawn all night about loving May December.
No, I don't know. Like, she's never gonna be as good as Thor: Love and Thunder. And no, I'm joking.
Although for legal purposes, that was a joke.
Yes.
Now, guys, I wanna bring this up before we move on, but I have been hearing the absolute most phenomenal things about Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall.
I was hoping you'd bring her up.
Yeah, because that's why she's my number 1. While I feel Fantasia Barrino's getting hype that is not reliant on much else other than an actual stage play, Sandra Hüller, the film has been seen, the film has won awards, and she has also won awards for that role.
Yeah.
People are saying she is amazing. Let's just hope so. She's my number 1. And I'm going to be honest. Maybe Natalie Portman sneaks into my list somehow. Maybe maybe Greta Lee ends up going more up on my list than before. Sandra Hüller may stick on my number 1 unless something drastic happens.
I also think this is her year. I mean, she had 2 huge movies at Cannes, one that won the Grand Prix and one that won the Palme d'Or. Like, you know, and she's the star of both of these movies. So it's a great year for her. I think Anatomy of a Fall is definitely her shining moment. So I definitely see her getting in.
Let's go to our penultimate category, fellas. Our predictions on Best Director. And this time, we are starting with... Where are we starting with?
Dan.
Dan.
Okay. So, my number 5 is Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. 4 is Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest. 3 is Celine Song for Past Lives. 2, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. And 1 is Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer.
Well, brother, for the sake of time, we have the exact same list.
Wow.
Dang it.
We haven't had the same list. That's crazy.
Yeah, wow.
All three of us.
Wow.
All three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dan. I have the exact same list as you. I just didn't know in a fight between Glazer and Triet who would win, and I thought, well, you know what? Maybe just put both of them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking a little bit about Greta Gerwig for Barbie, even though I said in the Barbenheimer stream I don't see it happening, only because apparently odds have gone up for her. Do I want to go with the odds and maybe Greta Gerwig could make it in, and there could be 3 female directors in Best Director? That would be incredible to see, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Because originally I was the same way. I had Greta Gerwig in, and then because the odds were going up, and then I'm like, I still don't. I don't totally see it.
Same. I agree with you, Dan. But yeah, this is the list. But let's talk about this for a second. We talked about in Barbenheimer, Nolan's year. And now that Dune has left, it's Nolan's year.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but Martin Scorsese has to change my life with Killers of the Flower Moon for me to put him at number 1. I don't see it happening.
Yep, agreed.
I see Nolan finally getting his first Oscar, defying all these preconceived notions of him being this genre director that the Academy was never going to award him. He only got it for Dunkirk, and here we are, 2023. My man Nolan is going to get it, and our fellow brother-in-arms, Eric Thorpe Reviews, is going to be so happy.
Yeah, seriously.
Shawn, since we have the same list, you go ahead. What's yours?
I do not have Justine Triet in my
You
list.
had her in the last one.
I know. My number 5 is Celine Song for Past Lives. Number 4, Emerald Fennell for Saltburn. Number 3, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. Number 2, Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. And number 1, Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan.
My friend, since I have known you, it has been, more than 2 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've known each other for more than 2 years. We're going on to
2.5
3 years. Yeah, we're going on to 3 years of knowing each other. You have loved Emerald Fennell. I am not surprised to see that she is your number 4 here.
I mean, I can't help myself. I love Emerald Fennell. I love Promising Young Woman. I can't wait for this movie. Obviously, I will be gutted if she does not get, or if this movie is not good, but I don't see that happening. So with Jonathan Glazer, I just feel like he has come off so many beloved movies that might have gone under the radar before, especially Under the Skin, which is a huge cult favorite. And from what I've heard about the Zone of Interest, I've just heard that the directorial vision behind it is really what elevates this film into something that is a piece of art or a masterpiece, as people have said. So I just see Jonathan Glazer really getting his time to shine in this category.
I agree. Maybe not my number 2, but he's in there.
Yeah.
So I agree. Guys, we're going to end this with the best picture predictions without Dune.
Without Dune.
Without Dune. This time it is me.
Yep.
My best picture 10. At number 10, guys. At number 10, I have The Zone of Interest. At number 9, Anatomy of a Fall.
Oh.
At number 8, Maestro. 7, Poor Things. 6, The Holdovers.
Wow.
Right in the middle, Barbie. 4, Saltburn. 3, Past Lives. 2, Killers of the Flower Moon. And I still got Oppenheimer taking Best Picture, especially in a year where Dune is no longer competing. Its biggest threat now is Killers of the Flower Moon.
I will agree with that for sure.
Yes.
Those two are head to head right now. And who knows, whenever Killers of the Flower Moon is released, it could trump Barbenheimer, or Oppenheimer rather. So used to putting those two together.
Yeah.
But I mean, Oppenheimer was such a huge, it's like a movement. You know, like it's been seen by everyone pretty much. It's made $700 million at the global box office. I have a hard time feeling Killers of the Flower Moon is going to gain that kind of momentum.
I have a hard time thinking about it as well. When I think of Oppenheimer, it brings me back to the days when Return of the King won it all, when Titanic won it all. These really big drama pieces that people just gathered to go see, and it made a lot of money and it won a lot of awards, and I see Oppenheimer being that same thing, and I really hope that it doesn't lose steam. I know the last couple of years our number 1 predictions have lost steam. Once we get to the end of the year, going into the more industry awards, we start to see that our number 1 is not the industry's number 1, and that's how we get a coda. And I mean, for our benefit, that's how we get Everything Everywhere All at Once, right?
Yeah.
I truly hope that Oppenheimer breaks that trend as of late and becomes that film that is number 1 and wins it, because I think it deserves it.
Agreed.
At least without watching Killers of the Flower Moon yet.
Yeah.
Shawn, your list.
We differ on a lot of these.
I'm ready.
My number 10 is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. This is me kind of like holding on to that. Like, there is a possibility for this movie to continue to gain steam throughout the year. And if it gets a screenplay nomination, there's a good chance it would get a Best Picture nomination. Number 9, The Killer, David Fincher, the writer of Seven, enough said. Number 8, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 7, Past Lives. Number 6, The Color Purple. Number 5, Anatomy of a Fall. Number 4, The Zone of Interest. Number 3, Saltburn. Number 2, Killers of the Flower Moon. And number 1 is Oppenheimer.
Wow, you're not wrong. We differed on a lot of these.
Yeah. When it comes to your list, John, I don't have a lot of hope in Maestro, The Holdovers, or Barbie in Best Picture. I really don't. Those 3, I just feel like I think there might be a lot of hype surrounding them for award season, and it's going to fall off. But we'll see.
Hey, it's fair. It's fair because I don't have hope in Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
That's all. Yeah.
As much as we know who's behind The Killer, I don't see it there either.
It's more of a wish fulfillment kind of thing. That's why it's there.
Yeah. No, I get you. I hope it's a good movie.
Yeah.
And as you guys know, throughout the stream, I've had no hope really in The Color Purple. It's not
Yeah.
even in my Best Picture 10. I do want to touch on this for a second, Shawn. I'll explain why on my end, and you can explain why on your end. But Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was on my list for the longest time. I really, just generally speaking, I don't see 10 films that are better than, or 9 films better than Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's why I feel like it needs to get up in there. But this is something that another YouTuber said. I'm not going to take credit for what I'm about to say, but I agree with the comparison that Spider-Man is getting RRR syndrome, where people came out of RRR, their minds exploded, said, this is incredible. I'm loving this so much. Academy acknowledged this in as many categories as you see fit, and yet they only acknowledged it in one. And people are starting to see it that way for Spider-Man, that it's RRR syndrome, and it may slowly lose steam. And I hope not, bro, because Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse isn't my top 2 film of the year, personally.
Yeah, same.
I want to see it.
I think that there is, honestly, like my 3, my 10, 9, and 8, I have no idea. These are like just hopeful thinking. With Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I do think that it is so beloved by so many people. It could be a Up or a Toy Story or a Beauty and the Beast, where an animated film does get in, not just because it is a well-made film, but because it's just all around for everybody. I could see this happening, and once again, it is a little bit of wish fulfillment because I do love the movie so much. But where we're at right now, with all the movies that have come out this year, I think it has a good chance. I do.
I lean more toward putting Spider-Man on that list, truly, but I do have some qualms about that. Before we move on to Dan, can I just say I commend you. Another hour before the stream, I would have probably changed Past Lives to way lower. Thank you for putting it as low as you did.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I just think it's really lost its steam, unless there's a miracle that happens and they re-release it in theaters and it becomes like, more people go to see it. I just think it came out too early. There's not enough love behind it to really push it to be a front contender.
I agree. Dan, take us home.
All right. So 10, I have The Holdovers. 9, Maestro. 8, Anatomy of the Fall. 7, Barbie.
Yes.
6, The Color Purple. 5, Saltburn. 4, Zone of Interest. 3, Past Lives. 2, Killers of the Flower Moon. And 1, Oppenheimer.
And 1, Oppenheimer. Okay. All right. So we have a close list, me and you, Dan, except that you have The Color Purple. Yeah. I have Poor Things. I'm still writing on Poor Things. I think with Dune out, Poor Things moves in over any other movie. Just that's what I see. That's what Dune moved out. Dune walked. So Poor Things could run. That's how I see it, and I hope so, because it looks like such a nutty movie.
Maybe if Yorgos Lanthimos made a movie that I liked, I would be more excited for Poor Things. I was a lot more on Poor Things 2 months ago, but I don't know.
I'm the same way, yeah.
Now listen, when it comes to The Holdovers, this is something I haven't mentioned yet. I'll mention it now. This is a film that could easily win the TIFF's People's Choice Award.
It could.
Yeah, definitely.
In the past 12, 13, maybe as far as 15 years, there has been one movie that has won TIFF's People's Choice and hasn't been nominated for the Oscar. Aside from that, every other movie has gone to be nominated for the Oscar. And everybody is saying that The Holdovers is prime contender to win that award.
It is that crowd-pleasing, feel-good movie that TIFF, the audience award, goes to. So I could see that. I could definitely see that narrative happening.
Yeah, and the one movie that didn't win was a foreign film in a year before Parasite changed the game.
Interesting.
Right? So TIFF is a good statistic if it indeed
Oh,
goes
100%.
ahead and wins it.
That's why, like, I'm so excited to talk about this in a month, because I feel like we're just really going to have a lot more of a better idea, like which movies are people loving, which movies are people hating.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
And I'd like to at least end this off here because, of course, we talked about Barbenheimer. Look, Dan, I'm happy you got Barbie in. Let's kind of bring it around. Let's make this stream like poetry. It's the popularity of Barbie, and it's the filmmakers behind it. There's another YouTuber that I listen to, Oscar-wise, and he goes ahead and he says that, yes, there is a lot of mixed takes with Barbie, but it's not enough to convince me that we live in a world where Barbie isn't beloved, because it is. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
Is it beloved enough to get a Oscar nomination for Best Picture?
We'll be back in March or February or never, just in case, because there's a chance the Oscars don't even happen.
Don't speak that blasphemy.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching Off to the Races Season 3. We will be back next month, where we will be talking about all of these things, but with a much wider range of opinions because of all of the festivals that are happening in September. So until then, make sure you check out the Cinema Squad channel, where we have all of our Off to the Races seasons on there for you to check out, and a couple of other exciting things that John's going to talk about.
Yeah, so right now on the Cinema Squad, we have the Rule of Three, which is a little subgroup of the Cinema Squad that talks all things Star Wars, and we are currently on a weekly discussion on Ahsoka. So if you're into Star Wars, you're into Ahsoka, you're into Rebels, go ahead, check out the Rule of Three. We got a playlist. Join us live every Thursday. We talk Ahsoka live, baby. Dan.
Yes. And please, down in the comment section, let us know, what are your predictions? Do you think Barbie's going to make it in? Let us know down in that comment section.
Till next time, movie fans.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
This is looking to be a tight one, folks.